Well, gamers, welcome back to my channel. I was planning to review one Charlie, but so I'll review someone else. I saw reviewing Kingdom Hearts, but similar case of Resident Evil I'm planning to do. I'm going to be reviewing someone else's playthrough of the game. But I will do a re-review once I complete the game myself, while I do sometime in the future. So, yeah, I'm going to do these videos now, but we do them once I beat each level of the games. Well, most of them are levels anyway. Right. Also, I'm planning to check out the Kingdom Hearts mangas. Only a few are translated. So, I won't give them a read though. So don't worry about that. So subscribe to my manga channel for that. And I also did a complete review on the Demon Slayer manga. So check out all my reviews on each arc of the series. And anyway, let's just get a review. Now, Kingdom Hearts was a co-production between Disney and Square Enix, the creators of the Final Fantasy series. Don't get any coin in this damn house. Features an original character, crossing over to all types of Disney universes. Now, it actually has some Final Fantasy characters in it too. Now, I never played all the Final Fantasy games. At the time, there were only Final Fantasy up all the way up to Final Fantasy 10. So anyway, the game opens with a narration by a protagonist. Sorry. Oh, pardon me. Where was I? Yes. As I said, the game opens with a narration by a protagonist, Sora. Something about dreams. Yeah. That's where we get a tutorial. And you need to Sora. You choose one of the three things to use. So, warrior, defender, and magician. You choose either one of those three depending on your character. Depends you throughout the game. But you must choose what power to give up. So yeah, after being the tutorial, you saw about a giant black monster with some type of sword that looks like a key. So yeah. Anyway, Sora wakes up on a place called Destiny Islands after having a dream. He's gonna start meet what is is woken up by one of his friends. Gonna start by one of his friends, Kyrie, who Sora has a crush on. You can actually, as you see the story about the first half of the game on the islands, you can see how much Sora cares for him. We know a little bit about Kyrie herself straight away. We know she doesn't remember where she came from. Sora wants to go out and explore worlds with his friends. You know? Make it up decide. I assume Destiny Islands is somewhere in Japan. That'd be my guess. That would make sense because of the names. Sora and Kyrie. They're Japanese. Sora's outfit's pretty interesting. Very interesting when you think about it. He has a chain necklace with a crown on it. He also has a red outfit, overall type of thing, and a zip. Yep, with big yellow shoes with black on them. A jacket that's black, white, and has a blue on it. black and white gloves. Obviously, he's like Mickey Mouse in a way. It's supposed to go. That's obviously supposed to contrast to the character. After all, he partners up with two of Mickey's best friends. But I'll get to that in a bit, because you obviously know who they are. Then introduced to another one of Sora's friends, Riku. As I said, they build in a raft so they all can go. You can tell Riku also likes Kairi. They build in a raft so they can go see other worlds, you know? You do all types of tests for skills of the raft across 2 days. Then as you explore the island, what you can explore, you actually meet 3 characters. I can't remember all their names. One of them is they're DH actually from characters from different games. There's T that's protagonist of Final Fantasy X. There's also the big guy with cool hairdo. I don't know his name. I have not played Final Fantasy X. Oh yeah, those two are from the same game. But Selphie, I think that's her name, is from Final Fantasy VIII. They're DH with different voice cast. Well, actually, yeah, they have a different voice cast. Well, obviously Tina's, the other guy has a different voice. Because they sound younger. Because they're supposed to sound younger. Selphie didn't have a voice because she came from Final Fantasy VIII. A game that didn't have dialogue. And I think, so, Final Fantasy X was supposed to actually include dialogue. Cutscenes with dialogue. You know? You guys should choose to spar with them, and you could also spar with Riku. It's pretty fun to help you hone your skills. Because Riku is the toughest. But you won't if you try that. After doing today's tasks, our 3 friends are sitting, watching, gazing at the sunset, talking about what's out there and going to see other worlds. Anyway, since the date's done, they're gonna head home. Riku kind of teases Sora by giving him a powerful fruit. Now, those actually get mentioned a bit. When you talk to Selphie, she mentions something about, when you talk to Selphie, she actually talks about the power fruit. Gives them more detail. Which I think is great world building. Hell, they actually get mentioned again in a later game. So anyway, basically the powerful fruit, if you share a powerful fruit with someone you truly care about, you two will be bound together for all eternity. They'll never stay apart. It's not actual stuff together, but you get what I mean. Like, they'll never lose each other. They'll always come back. They'll always meet each other again, always. Which I think is so romantic. I'm not a romantic guy, but I think that's really good. Really good world building. Giving a bit of world building to the Destiny Islands, which is Sora's ground. Now, the design of the anime characters, they got anime designs like Final Fantasy VII. I don't know, guys, that was the first 3D game. So that's why they look so anime like not proper anime like. As if that was proper, it'll be different. Be more unique style. Instead, Square's going for the style they're more familiar with when creating Final Fantasy VII. So, and Sora, now, they did a balls move that's pretty ballsy towards the end at the finale. But I'll get to that. Anyway. Somewhere far away, a place that called Disney Castle, where loyal wizard to the king, Donald Duck. Yes, he's a wizard now. I don't know why. They probably just keeping the idea of RPG. Remember, this game is built on the foundations of Final Fantasy gameplay, but with a different twist. And when they did Kingdom Hearts, and some of they took inspiration from Final Fantasy X, I think. I don't know, I'm not really played that, but I do plan on watching walkthroughs of those games, give my thoughts on them. So don't worry about that. Anyway. Anyway, Donald is greeting the king, who's you may obviously guess who it might be. After all, it's obviously Mickey Mouse. I mean, come on. I think they should add more lore to it. You know, because at the time they couldn't get Oswald back. They didn't get Oswald back until later 2000s. Because this was the early 2000s. And, well, if you want to know the whole story about Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, just look it up on YouTube. There are plenty of videos about that story. But just this. The herald of the universe at the time stabbed Walt Disney in the back. You know? He'll take and gave him an ultimatum, basically stealing the character. If Walt didn't take a 26% pay cut, he'll leave the studio and as well the team will be taken. They just signed the contract. So, yeah. But that's like that's in the Great Mickey Mouse. And the whole story of Epic Mickey. Which I plan to cover as well someday. Yeah, I'll have to watch more Bruce. Anyway. So. Donald was grieving king that day, but he seemed to have disappeared, leaving behind a letter. No, go, you know, like he always does. He's played by Tony Oswalt since the 1980s, still wears today, until he passes. Where we get you, Donald voice. After all, this is at the time Mitchell, the second voice of Mickey, was still alive. He died a few years ago, along with Lucy Taylor. So anyway, he talks to not Goofy. Tell him not to tell him something, but keep it top secret. Not don't even realize that the Queen and her advisor, I think, Queen Minnie and Daisy are behind them. But Daisy going like this. You know? She doesn't have much of a temper as Donald, but you know, she can have one. And she's voiced by Tress MacNeille. Good actress. Anyway, cut to day 2 on Destiny Islands. So is doing more tasks. Okay, Sora and Riku and Kairi do more tasks. You know, to fix the ship, to finish up the raft. And when you talk to Kairi after you're done, you can see him making something called a lucky charm, something special. Something, you know, that comes to play later in the game. Well, not much, but it comes in plot, shows a bit of a drive for the character. So yeah, also, you get to rescue Riku when you have to choose a name. You choose as Hyman, you can choose whatever name you want. But default name is Excalibur. But I always lose to Riku. By the way, I like to see virtual what happens if you beat Riku. If you beat Riku, because I'm curious. Especially in the fights. Like, losing to Riku actually symbolizes the growth of the character. So yeah. Anyway, after calling it a day, we cut back to the palace, where again a reading letter left by Mickey. You can tell it was made by Mickey because he says "pal." He always says "pal." Hey, pal. Yeah. By the way, have you ever seen the recent Disney short? You can tell it's much better than the one released a year ago, plus a bursary. Or was it months ago? So yeah, it's much better. So, I've not watched it yet, actually. By the way, I'm just watching these games. I'm going to try my best to watch all the Disney movies in the history. All the classics. But all the ones worked by Walt Disney was passing in 1966. This Walt era, I like to call. It's probably a different thing. Anyway, Mickey's gone and messed the game. The world's died out, mysteriously disappearing. There's stars in the sky. Excuse me. So this tells Donald and Goofy to find the key bearer. And to know more details, they gotta have to find and talk to a man named Leon. Now, that name will not sound familiar to anyone who's played a Final Fantasy game. He's a Final Fantasy character, but I'm not telling you who he is. They didn't mention his names, though. So yeah. So Donald and Goofy set on their mission immediately. On their ship, the gummy ship. Meanwhile, back at night, Sora's house, which is the only time we hear about Sora's family. Seriously, Sora's family. Well, more specifically, his mother. Anyway, Sora's just thinking about something about the raft. Well, Sora is thinking about Kairi and stuff. But then he sees a black world in the skies, and he's worried about the rat. A few seconds, then we transition back to in the same room, where Sora's mother calls him down for dinner, but he's gone at that point. And this is kind of sad when you think about it. Like, if you play the later games, it's kind of sad, that knowledge. Granted, they weren't thinking about that at the time, but that might have consequences. I'm sure they might get back to that someday. So after arriving on the island, he sees some creatures. By the way, early on during the island, there's a scene early when you go inside the grotto. We see a drawing of Sora and Kairi's faces they did when they were younger. So he goes into more details, like him giving Kairi a palpable fruit. Then he sees a mysterious man saying this world has been connected. So that mysterious cloaked figure, who we find out who it is later on. I mean, well, not in the game more specifically. Not later on in this game, but in later interpretations, later games. Because he's kept mysterious. And you see a lot of stuff, ideas that probably didn't go well. Anyway. There was a mysterious door there too. Anyway, Sora's on the island. Trying to find Kairi. He enters the grotto, he sees her there. But the door opens and she faces through him and disappears. So yeah. Sora goes up looking. He finds Riku on the beach. Actually, this came before that. Sorry. Asking where Kairi is. Yeah. He just basically tells him this. They say they can finally get on this island. And they probably never see their parents again. That is true! They never see their parents again! How funny is that? When you think about it. Anyway, Sora does try to grab Riku's hand. So now black or swirls him and a key some type of key appears. And someone in his head tells him it's called the Keyblade. As he bites these black creatures, he bites the same one in his dream. And after that speed, he gets sucked into a boy room. Meanwhile, Donald and Goofy arrive at Traverse Town, and they're gonna have to look for Leon to find out any information about Keybearer. They put Pluto along with them. So yeah. But Pluto goes off on his own a bit and finds Sora unconscious. So after he wakes Sora up, Sora goes to investigate a look at the world where he meets about a person named Sid from Final Fantasy X. You know what I mean? He runs a shop where you can buy lots of stuff. And just in searching, taking down some Warlords creatures, he ends up battling a man who you may recognize as Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. Basically saying he'd take the key. The outcome's not really different. It's just an extra line, but it's not really much different if you either win or lose. It just ends with Sora passing, being unconscious. Also, Donald and Goofy confronted by meet a person who asks if they work with the king. That person is also Leon's with another person, by the way. None other than the great ninja Yuffie from Final Fantasy VII. And Donald and Goofy meet Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. Now they're in default outfits for some reason. Not the iconic outfits from their games. Now here they're like Final Fantasy VII models. But Kingdom Hearts 2 actually improves on the design. They actually improved the design later on in the second game. It's pretty incredible how much they improved. Anyway, Sora wakes up and meets Yuffie and Leon and Squall, who is Leon actually. Don't ask me why they changed his name. After all, Final Fantasy VIII came out a few years prior. So I have no clue why his name was changed. If you know the reason, let me know in the comments below. Did you actually mention his name, Squall? I think Leon's just a new name he's going by. Maybe he has some type of dark past that's why he changed his name. So he also carries something I like to call a gunblade. Anyway, they get told about the key, why it's useless to bring worlds to connect the brain pace to the universe, to protect those. And he's basically told it to people away from him. And the creature's known as Heartless attack. We actually, early on, before Sora met Leon, we saw a man get attacked and his heart just disappears and forms into one of them. Anyway, the Heartless attacks. Sora battles out, meanwhile Donald and Goofy are also battling. Once you get to the right location, the cutscene plays. Where Sora ends up meeting Donald and Goofy, because they accidentally land on him because of Donald's magic. And they end up having to work together to fight a big Heartless. Well, they decided they need Sora to come with them since he has the key. Leon also tells Sora to go with them. Sora decides he could possibly find his friends that way, so he agrees. And that's the start of their journey. As they travel to different worlds, meanwhile in the background, an evil group of villains are there. For each level. Now, I'm actually going to mention levels that are more important to the story but they do feature villains as part of the group. But I mean more connected to the story. I mentioned all the villains out there. There's Jafar from Aladdin, Set from the Little Mermaid, Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas, Captain Hook from Peter Pan. There's also Aladdin from There's also Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. I think there are more, but no, there are just 6 of them. And look in the background, kidnapping the all characters from different universes. They kidnap Alice in Wonderland. they keep that Snow White. Now, that depends on which story you play first. In the cutscene, if you play the Alice in Wonderland level first, you get a scene of Alice after she was taken to the level. But you decide to play the Colosseum first, where that cutscene plays. She swapped out with Snow White. Great difference. You have to go on a little more. Sora grows as a person, meeting all kinds of friends, defeating each of the villains in their own respective world. Even helping summons, like in Final Fantasy, this time with all Disney characters, and ones that are not gone period yet, but they'll appear in the sequel. Now, important level detail, and when they arrive at Traverse Town again, Sora reunites with Riku. Someone sees off about him. He doesn't seem, Sora doesn't suspect a thing. He just disappears. Maleficent is slowly manipulating him. We actually see him end up in the place where the final battle's going to take, where the mid climax happens, mid finale or something. I don't know what to call it. The 2-part climax. So I'm going to say the 2-part climax, part 1 and part 2. And this comes to play in another level that isn't a world. Most of you get swallowed by the whale from Pinocchio. But of course, something old detail. Pinocchio's normal in a way. But the whale comes later in the film for the climax. Before Pinocchio's selfless act caused him to become a human boy. A real boy. So he looks more human. But in the original film, he had the donkey ears and tail. By the way, there's a new Pinocchio live action movie on Disney Plus, and I haven't heard good reviews about it so far. Typical for live action Disney movies. I also saw the doggy transformation scene on YouTube. I haven't seen the original film in quite a while, by the way. Anyway, during that level, Riku seems to become an antagonist in a way. Trying to take Pinocchio. But you manage to, after being the hunters, manage to rescue Pinocchio. Riku just disappears. And we see them later on at Hollow Bash at Traverse Town. There's Leon helping them out. But just a nice detail. I like that. There's also a special level if you go through all levels collecting special torn pages of a book when you meet Merlin and the fairy godmother. Merlin from the Sword in the Stone, the fairy godmother from Cinderella. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. That'd be funny to go out on. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that to go out on. Anyway, all that's left to fight is Maleficent, and she's still manipulating Riku. Then you end up on Captain Hook's ship, where Sora learns that Riku is a bad guy working for the Heartless now. It's another power. So after that level, you do find Kairi, but someone seems wrong with her. And you can't find her again because she's been taken again. So yeah. But you do beat Hook, thanks to Peter Pan. I don't like how this world always affects Sora. Helping him grow as a person, learn all kinds of things. Helping him learn that friends, true power is your friends. It's My Little Pony lesson. Before My Little Pony came back. Friendship is magic. Oh, it's kind of funny. Anyway. The torn pages come together in a book in Merlin's cabin in Traverse Town, the secret area. Will you get to visit the world of Winnie the Pooh and become friends with him? As I said, that helps you grow. I really like these details. Of course, there's something that I don't know if Maleficent still played with the same actress or not. I don't know. I think it was the 2000s. Sleeping Beauty came out in the 50s, didn't it? Or am I wrong? Yeah, I think it came out in the 50s. Same decade as Cinderella. I just could be wrong now. I don't know. It was the 2000s, and it could be dead now, but not back then. But then again, Lapis still sounds the same. Her appearance in Kingdom Hearts 3. And she now has a sidekick in that game, in the later games. But we'll get to that. And one of the games actually sees the origin of that. Anyway, I found about a hollow bastion, where somehow Riku has the power to take the key. So places where was Donald and Goofy leaving him because they had to follow the key bearer, even though Goofy was reluctant. But words from Beast encouraged him to grow. And now he definitely learned, and he learned not to give up. And with Goofy, Donald and Goofy decided to stay with him because they grew as friends. Donald and Sora did butt heads a lot throughout the game. Yeah, but they definitely grew as characters and friends. I like that, especially the Tarzan level. That's most important for their growth. So, I give applause to that. So anyway, and after you beat Riku, he seems to run away, but something gives him more power. Anyway, he's in some type of dark keyblade. Lapson goes off and fights. Now, with Riku giving her extra more power, turn her into a dragon form. But she's ultimately beaten. And at the gateway, some type of power is leaking. But we discover something else. Kairi's heart is being restored the entire time. So yeah. Anyway, but it turns out that's not Riku. He's been possessed by someone named Ansem. Anyway, Sora decides to make the ultimate sacrifice to bring back Kairi's heart. He uses the Keyblade to bring back Kairi's heart, but sacrifice himself. And Kairi woke up and saw him fading. It's a truly heartbreaking scene. They finally got to it's truly heartbreaking. It's truly sad. But anyway, they need to run anyway. But somehow our absolute heartless starts following them, and it's built to be Sora. But thanks to Kairi's words, it turns back to normal. So after that, after beating Nelson, they head back to Traverse Town, and they tell Leon all about this. So, and the princess is still at the castle. So now they need to find Ansem and take him down. So yeah, before they leave, Kairi gives Sora her lucky charm she made earlier on. She tells him make sure to bring it back. Sora made a promise, and that's going to be sticking with him throughout the game until the next meeting in Kingdom Hearts. I'm not going to tell, actually. Anyway, after I battled some monsters, but seeing the world of heartless, the final battle against Ansem ensues. What happens? Ansem thinks that Kingdom Hearts leads to darkness, but Sora says that it's light, and Ansem was defeated. But the worlds are coming apart, and had to shut the door. Help of Riku and Mickey. Anyway, I don't think they had time to give him a unique outfit because he was not much in the game, be a waste of time. But they actually found a way to retcon it slightly in a spin-off sequel. But I'll get to that in another future game. Actually, the only one I beat, actually. So that's the only game I ever beat of Kingdom Hearts. I was pretty far in the first game. Anyway. Just from the door. Riku says one must Sora take care of her. He knows how much Kairi cares for Sora. So, he backed off of that. You really see that. Rico did like Kyrie, but respected her feelings. So much he regretted everything that's happened. He blamed. If he didn't give in to darkness, he and Sora could have worked together. You know, he could have been able with Sora to help rescue Kyrie. It's possible they could do it all to the story. I'd like to see a remake of this in modern animation. But I doubt that happens since they announced my Kingdom Hearts 4 sometime in the future. Anyway. So. Sora and Kyrie said their goodbyes. Sora telling Kyrie that he'll come back for her. And Kyrie ends back on Destiny Islands. You know, I like the ending, how it makes you feel like crying. They finally get to reunite but are separated again. The three friends are separated again. That's truly sad. That's a sad note the game ends on, but it shows hope. It's a ballsy move. And on the credits, we see Kyrie. It's the CGI credits, by the way, not in-game cutscenes. She sees what Sora did earlier, and so cards another part in of her giving Sora a powerful food as well. It's truly heartwarming, and it pays off in Kingdom Hearts 3, but I'm not going to spoil that. There's a post-credit scene with Sora, Donald, and Goofy wondering what to do next. They still go find the king. Then you see Pluto with a letter. He's been absent for the entire game. No explanation. He has a letter with Mickey's emblem on it, so they go chase after him. Which leads into the plot of the spin-off, but I'll get there. Now, Sora was played by Haley Joel Osment. I do not know how to play the games in Japanese, by the way, so I do not know the Japanese actors. But, yeah, there's also probably a Kingdom Hearts series in the works with Disney Plus. Announced earlier this year or late last year, I can't remember the exact details. Coming out in 2023, but still, it's not been confirmed or denied. We're just going to have to wait for some confirmation about it. Anyway, if you guys watching me enjoy my content, please hit the thumbs up button. Want to see more, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Schedule all those accounts in the future. I'll see you guys next time for Kingdom Hearts. Chain of Memories. A handheld spin-off. Again, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bibbity, Bobbity,